Hello, my friend. Welcome to the Sick is Cool podcast. I'm your host, Aimee Esther, and today we are talking about the haters. I'm going to share with you some of the comments that I've gotten on YouTube videos and podcast episodes from what I'm calling the haters. But if one of you have commented one of these things, I don't hate you. I still love you. I'm guessing that most of the people who did these comments probably don't come back and watch my videos. Maybe though, I don't know. If you're here, hey, we can still be friends. Let's come back from this. But these are things that people have said to me that are either what I would consider rude or things that people just didn't quite understand me or understand chronic illness. And the point of this is not to hate on these people. Some of these I can tell were coming from a totally good place and a loving place. Some of them did not feel loving at all. But it's funny because if I don't like something or I'm weirded out by something someone does or I think they're wrong, I have never once commented on a video. That's just not me. And so sometimes I just think why? Why are you spending your time doing this? And most of them are so long. They will send me this novel about all the things that are wrong about what I said or did. And it's just, I don't know. It's funny to me that people are using their time and energy to hate on other people. Why? I don't know. I don't know why they do it, but they do. Whoa, knocking over my microphone. I don't know why they do it, but they do. I have many clients who have talked to me about the haters in their life, and it may not be on the internet. It might be face to face with people. I do think people are meaner on the internet, but there are still really hard things when you live chronically ill of feeling judged or just fearing what people will think of you if you are too sick or you're not sick enough. There's a lot of fear around chronic illness and other people who don't quite understand it. And before we get into it, I want to remind you that my productivity workbook is out in the world. You guys are loving it. So many of you have started it. I was honestly shocked how many of you have tried it out and loved it. So if you haven't yet, go check it out. I literally use it every day. Today, I did not want to film this podcast. That was the last thing that I wanted to do. I was so tired. My husband got off work, and I thought to myself, I've got to do the 5-minute rule. I've talked about this before. That's one of the things in the book. And I do it for 5 minutes. And then if I'm still not feeling good, then I can stop. But guess what? I got going and I was excited about it. And then I realized, no, this will actually make me feel better if I go sit down and record this podcast. So here we are using some of the tips from my productivity course. It's just a workbook. It's not a full course, just a workbook. I asked on Instagram if you guys wanted a more expensive course with videos and more resources, or if you wanted all the same information but in a book form. It's a workbook so you can write in it. You print it yourself. But the much cheaper option than going with the full course, and the majority wanted the workbook, and so that's what we went with. It's only $19, and it will help you be way more productive if you live chronically ill. So make sure you check that out. And I currently have openings for coaching. If you have been wanting to be coached by me, I do offer a free consultation, totally free. We talk about your issues, the things going on for you, because as great as a course or a workbook is, sometimes you need that one-on-one help. And if that's you, I do have a couple openings. They will probably fill up fast, so I would get on that ASAP. But I do offer a free consultation just to make sure we're the right fit before you commit to anything. So if you're interested in coaching with me, that is linked in the podcast show notes or in the description on YouTube. And who's proud of me, you guys? Third week in a row, I'm getting a podcast episode out. I am not on a set schedule. I want to be. It drives me nuts. The last one didn't get out till Friday. I used to post on Mondays, but you know what? It got out in the week. So we're doing it. We're just doing our best here, you guys. And when you live chronically ill, if you're anyone, we're all doing our best, right? But if you live chronically ill and you have limited energy and you have extra circumstances that are hard, like I have kids, or maybe you're in school, or maybe you have other things that are going on that make it so difficult to add in those extra things you want to do, like for me, recording podcast episodes. It can be so difficult to motivate yourself and to have the physical energy to do it. And I'm very proud of myself for being here on week 3. So let's jump into it. Let's start with this one. This is actually the most recent one. And kind of what triggered me to start this episode is this one is actually about the Sick is Cool podcast. When I kind of revamped the podcast to a more relaxed style, I'm just sitting here. I really need to get a comfortable chair. That's something I realized as I was sitting down today is I need like a comfy chair. I'm sitting on my office chair, which is very good for my neck and back. But when I'm recording a podcast, I kind of want to get comfortable. So then I sit where it's not as good for my back. And I think I need like a comfy chair or something to set up in here so that we can just relax and hang out together because we're getting more chill here on the podcast. That's the whole point is we're just sitting and talking. It's much less edited. I basically only edit when I have to, take a break for something, or maybe I'll edit out some burps and things like that. But it's mainly unedited, and we're just trying to relax because that's where we are right now. And so I decided to kind of revamp things so that I at least got an episode out every week. And I decided to change the name of the podcast to Sick is Cool. Now I talk about it more in that episode. You don't need to hear the whole story again. Okay, so this comment says, I don't think being sick is cool at all. It has stolen so much, not to mention from my husband and kids, but I have to say that I have the very most out of it. But I will say I have made the very most out of it, plus some. I am 47 symptoms, started showing 14 years ago. She kind of goes into her story a little bit. And then I have quality of life, but not one day have I ever thought that this is cool. It's just not. But that doesn't mean I won't be the best version of me anyway. Irregardless, chronic sick. Okay, I can't talk today. Irregardless, chronic sick stinks. Fact. But I still love you no matter what the name is. But as you and your kids age, this is the part that makes me laugh. But as your kids age, as an older mom here, I think your perspective may change. Now, this one I do think is coming out of love. Like she even said, like, still love you, I'll still watch you. So she's probably here. Most of these people are a lot more hateful in their comments and will probably not be here. They definitely didn't like me. This person I can tell, like, we're still cool. We're still friends. And I'm talking about this comment not to say, bad things about this person who commented because, again, we're not going to hate the haters back. We're just going to comment on what they said. Okay, so I have gotten comments, and I tried to find the other one. I couldn't find it. I know it was a while ago, but I've had at least 2 other comments before of people saying that I'm immature for thinking that life can be fun, or life could be cool, or life could be happy when living chronically ill. And usually it's someone who's older than me. I'm 28 years old. I'm in my 20s for 2 more years, which was crazy. I'll be 30 in I guess a year and a half. I'll be 30. That's crazy. Anyway, it's usually someone older than me who says that's so immature, and you'll learn when you're older that chronic illness sucks and you shouldn't be happy about it. Now, here's the deal, okay? And here's my thoughts on this. I know that nobody chose this. Like, we didn't choose to feel sick. I would not have chosen to be chronically ill. If I could choose right now to be sick or to not be sick, of course I would choose to not feel sick all the time. Like, no duh. However, how is it immature to believe that life can be good despite hard things that happen? That to me seems like the most mature thought. Because when I was a teenager and hard things happened, I thought, poor me, like, life sucks and it's not fair and I can never be happy until this part of my life is gone, or until my outside circumstances change. I'm never going to be happy. And I actually think it's a very mature thought to think I can be happy even if life is really hard. Even if I feel physical pain, I can still have fun. In fact, I can have a really cool life. And even though none of us chose this sick club that we are all a part of, we're a part of it. So why can't we enjoy it? Why can't we just say, yeah, it's cool to be sick? Now, you don't have to believe that it's a great thing, and that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can still enjoy life as it is. If you joined this sick club not on purpose, which I don't think a single person would have, like, you can still be a part of the club, and we can make it a cool club instead of making it a sad, depressing club. And if you've watched my videos, you know that I'm not just happy all the time and everything's wonderful. Hard things are hard. And I have days where I am really struggling. And I was dealing with postpartum depression, which made it even worse because I had the depression cloud over my head for a while. I mean, I've had that for a long time, on and off. But life is hard with chronic illness. That doesn't mean that we can't find joy. That doesn't mean that we can't make it fun. That doesn't mean that we can't say that it can be cool. It can be cool to be chronically ill, you guys. And you don't have to. You don't have to think it's cool. But I'm just saying, for me, that makes it so much better. Because if I can choose between saying my life sucks and I hate being a part of this sick club, I hate being chronically ill, and my life will never be better until it's gone. Or I could think, yeah, this sucks, but I can still find good things out of this. I can still make my days fun. I can still have fun while living chronically ill, and while searching for answers, and while trying new treatments, and while doing all the things. If I can still have fun doing that, like, why would I choose the opposite? Like, if I get to choose fun or miserable, I'm always going to choose fun. And I think the reason that I get comments like this, again, no shame to people who comment this way, because I'm the same. Sometimes we all do this. But I feel like it's misery loves company, right? Like, I'm miserable and living chronically ill, and someone else finds it fun or enjoyable or says they have an amazing life while living chronically ill. Like, no, I feel miserable, so they should feel miserable too. And again, I say that out of love because literally I do that. Like, I have a friend who's like going on vacation, and I'm like, no, you shouldn't go on vacation because I don't get to go on vacation, or I don't have the money and I don't have the energy. And I think, well, she shouldn't be able to go because I am not going. Like, I do it. I do this all the time. But I think when we play the victim card and think about our lives, even the hard parts of our lives, as only there to make us miserable, then we end up miserable. But if instead we realize that something that's really hard can actually bring a lot of joy, something that's really hard can actually make me grow as a person, something that's really hard can actually make me a better mom and wife and YouTuber and podcaster, like, it could actually make me better. And I'm to the point in my life where some people may say, oh, she's too immature. But to me, I'm looking at, like, 10 years ago, I would look at my life and be like, this is never going to be good until you're better. And now I look at my life and I think it's actually better than I could have imagined, like times 10. Had I gone down the road that I had planned on with no chronic illness, actually does not sound like the best road for me now that I've been able to look back and see where this chronic illness journey has brought me. And that's including all the medical bills that I still to this day have a hard time not feeling guilty and bad about, and oh, that was a waste because we didn't find solutions from this thing or whatever. Like, I still feel that guilt sometimes. And I still feel that, like, pain of, oh man, if we didn't have all these medical bills, we'd be able to do X, Y, and Z, or we'd be able to have a bigger house or whatever, right? Like, those thoughts still come up. But I can look back and see that overall, my life is actually way better than the life that I had planned for myself with the chronic illness. And right now, there are times where it's really hard and I might have a hard time seeing that. And then I just remember and I tell myself, Aimee, there are things that have happened that are really hard and you got through them. And even though you never want to do it again, and even though you wouldn't wish it upon your worst enemy, you see that those things actually benefited you and made you a better person and brought you to this thing that you have in your life now. So even if you can't see it now, why this trial is here, you will be able to see it one day. That's what I tell myself when I'm struggling. And I think the mindset of, well, this sucks, and so everybody else who lives this way should think it sucks, or anybody who has anything similar should be miserable too because I'm miserable. Like, no, like if somebody is having a good mindset on something, why do we want to bring them down on that? Like, why do we want to tell them, no, you should not believe that your life is good, Aimee, because your life sucks? Like, that's what I've had people tell me before. And it's like, no, I actually want to believe this right now. And I actually want to strive to find joy in pain. I'm not coming from a place of it's better to think this way. I'm saying it's better for me to think this way. I feel better when I think this way. Whenever I get stuck into the victim mindset, I feel awful. And whenever I come into everybody's life is hard, we all have hard things, but I can find joy and good where I am. That's where I personally find the happiest life. All right, that was long. Okay. That's why I love podcasts, because I can just sit and chat, and I love listening to podcasts because I can just lay on the couch with a migraine or in pain, or I can get something done and I can be productive while I listen to a podcast. When I'm watching something, I just have a hard time not just wasting time. So I love a good podcast, and that's why we're here to just sit and chat. All right, the next one comes from another more recent one. This comment was on I guess I'm going in order. We'll just go in order from, I guess, most recent to the farthest away. This was on my video where I had postpartum depression and my house became a disaster. There's stuff everywhere and it was just a struggle, okay? And I made a full YouTube video on it. I don't know, it's 10 minutes or so. And then I cut it down and made a short. And the shorts go wider out to people. I don't know if you know how this works. But YouTube videos, you'll probably get less views, but like it's a more engaged audience, right? Like the people who watch my actual YouTube videos, the full length videos, you guys are here with me. We're like in this together. It feels like we're hanging out together. But the shorts are just quick little snippets. You don't remember it 3 seconds after it happens. I've talked about this before. I do not like them, but it's where the algorithm is going, so I've been trying to make some. Anyway, I cut that one down to a short. So this lady probably knows nothing about me. She's probably only seen this one video, has no idea anything about my life. And I did mention it, like I have postpartum depression and I'm really struggling. I'm going to try to get up and clean my house. And my baby was sitting on the floor surrounded by clothes. They were all clean, but she was surrounded by clothes. And she was safe, by the way. She was totally fine. But someone commented, said, poor child is just sitting in the middle of a mess. And you guys showed up and defended me. I had a couple comments said, I can't imagine parenting with chronic illness. Aimee's doing a wonderful job. She's raising beautiful children despite her hard trials. From the brief we've seen of her and her children are very happy and healthy and love their mama. That one just made my heart so happy. And then someone else said, this happens with people with chronic illness. You must not have a clue. It's not like garbage is everywhere. Clean laundry needs to be put away, dishes loaded, as well as wipe down and vacuum. If your home stays spotless and you don't suffer from multiple chronic illnesses, then hooray for you. And I just love that you guys showed up for me because these kind of comments, sometimes if I'm feeling sassy, I'll respond to them, but I try not to like give in to that because I just know it's someone who's had a rough day and they see me and maybe they want to feel better about themselves by like seeing, where I am, or I don't know. Again, I don't feel like, I don't understand why people comment mean things on stuff. But they do. So anyway, my thought on this that I want to share is that people don't know the whole story. Nobody knows what's really going on there. Nobody on the internet knows where I was, where my head was, where my physical health was, what was going on in the background with my kids. And there are many things that I don't talk about on the internet. I don't talk about struggles my kids have, or maybe more personal struggles that I have, things that I don't really care to share with the whole world. I am very, very open about so many things. I'm very open about my mental health. I share a lot about my physical health, but there's so many other parts of my life that you don't see and you don't know what it's like. And I know so many of you listening are thinking of a person in your life who has judgments of you based on seeing a tiny part of your life. And what's funny about this comment is it was a short too. It was literally like 40 seconds of my life that this person saw and made a judgment about it. And although it wasn't like the meanest thing I've ever seen, like it wasn't terrible, but like I think things are a little more triggering to me when it's about my parenting. That definitely triggers me a little more than like if it's just about me or the way that I think, I'm just like whatever. But when I think about parenting, I get a little more triggered with that, you know? But nobody really knows what it's like except me and my spouse and even family and friends. They don't know the whole story. You know how this is. And I have coached so many people on this topic of people not fully understanding their illness and people getting a small piece and then especially being scared to say certain things. Like, for example, I got my hair done. If you see this on YouTube, I just feel better as a blonde. I'm actually trying to cut out a lot of toxins from my life. That's a story for another day. But that is not something I'm willing to give up. I like to dye my hair, okay? And I feel better as a blonde. I feel more me as a blonde. So here we are. But I shared it that I went blonde, and obviously you can tell. And I got comments from people saying, like, how were you able to do that? Like, that, like, I could never do that because I have POTS and this and this and this. And I was super sick the whole time. I felt awful. Like, I had a massive migraine. I felt like I was going to pass out most of the time. Like, I felt terrible the whole time. But to me, that was something I really wanted to do for me. And again, I've been struggling with postpartum depression. And so it's just something that I felt like would make me feel beautiful, would make me feel more confident. And it was something I wanted to do. And it doesn't matter why, but that's something I want to do. And then I felt like I had to explain myself on the internet of like, oh, well, I am sick because then maybe this isn't coming around, but I feel this fear that like, well, people will think I'm not really sick because I could get my hair done. And I've coached people on this topic too, where like you're scared to show someone if you're having a good day because then they're going to think that like, oh, was she faking on the other days? Or like, why would you use a wheelchair and then be able to stand up? Like I've done that before where I need a wheelchair just because of I live with postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome or POTS, and I get very sick upon standing too long. But like I can physically stand. It just makes me very ill to stand very long. And so like I'll go somewhere and I'll use a wheelchair, but then I'll stand up to do something and there's this fear of like, okay, people will think that I'm just like thinking it's funny to sit in a wheelchair, or they'll think I'm not actually that sick. Well, why can she stand up? And it's so funny because we are afraid of people thinking we're not sick enough, and we're afraid of people thinking we're too sick, because the opposite is also something that happens, and I've coached many people on and myself where you're worried that people think you're too sick, like you can't do anything, and they baby you and they treat you like you can't function normally, and in some ways you can and in some ways you can't. And the thing is, nobody gets it but you, right? And maybe other people who live chronically will get it, right? Like you guys get it. And I hear your stories and I'm like, yeah, I totally understand that. That happens to me too. But people who don't live chronically ill, like they don't get that we have ups and downs. They just might be more dramatic than other people. Or there's things that we just really want to do. I just really want to be a mom. I just really want to dye my hair. And I'm just going to push through the pain to do that. And that's another way that we can feel fear that people are going to judge us or they're going to think different of us. And so trying to make everyone else fully understand our illness, it's a waste of our time and it's a waste of our energy, because I fully believe that you only have so much mental energy, just like you only have so much physical energy. And if you're spending it on things that don't really matter or won't make a difference in your life, stop it. Instead of worrying about how someone else is going to think of you or what you do is going to come. I'm saying this, I feel like I'm saying this so strongly as if like I know what I'm doing. And I literally did this like 2 days ago, feeling all judged that I did my hair. So again, when I talk, I hope you know that like 100% I'm a human being who still does this stuff. But the goal is to stop spending our time on things that really don't matter, right? Like, let's start thinking about how we can enjoy our lives as they are, or how we can enjoy this moment when people are judging us, instead of worrying about people judging us. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, okay. This is going so long. Okay, this one made me laugh, just random. Not everyone wants kids. Every bad thing that'll ever happen to them is your fault. Think of that the next time you look at your baby. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, what? Okay, this is, I guarantee, coming from someone, well, obviously, who doesn't have kids. Like, every bad thing that happens to them is my fault. I can influence them, but how is that? I don't know. I don't understand people. I didn't even respond to that one. Okay. Another one that this comes up a lot says, stop doing stupid diets for your SIBO. Just eat normal, a lot of fiber, take the antibiotic. It's that simple. And I was feeling sassy this day, so I responded, gee, thanks. I never would have thought of that. And again, this comes to people not understanding your story, right? Same thing as before. We don't need to go into more detail. People don't understand what you've been through. And even if somebody has the solution for me and it's very obvious a solution, there are times where I'm not in a place to take it. I have been working on a lot of things now for my health that I think to myself, like, wow, this would have been a really easy change and it's making a big difference. And I know I've been recommended it before, but the problem was I was not in a mental space to take on more. I was pregnant. I had a newborn baby for many years. I have 3 kids, 4 and under, and so I have a lot of young kids. It's just been a lot, and I haven't had the mental space to take on more. And even now, there's things I want to do, but I'm like, food, I can't really take on going on a diet, even though I know there's things I could try. I know that there's things that probably would make me feel better. But again, nobody knows what I'm going through right now. And even if they do have the solution, which based on past experience, many times it doesn't work for me, even if it worked for you. But if it did, I might not be willing to take that. And so judging someone and saying like, stop being stupid, it's like, just be nice. Okay. Okay, this one's great. This person said, why would you have a child when you cannot be fully available to them? It seems selfish. I can't afford kids, so I choose not to have them. Again, misery loves company. This person says, well, I can't afford kids, so I'm not having them. So that means you can't have them because it's really hard for me in my situation. And since your situation looks hard to have kids, you also shouldn't. So we can both be miserable together. No, I'm sorry. Anyway, so I choose not to have them because I think a child deserves more. Bringing a human being into the world is an incredible responsibility, honor, and privilege, not a right given to anyone who can conceive. There will always be emotional neglect. This is the best part. There will always be an emotional neglect for a child who has a parent with an illness. Okay? We delude ourselves with silver linings. It is not a blessing in disguise. It is a loss. And in that moment, you accept having a child is a loss. And the moment you accept that and admit it, you will be able to grieve and the emotional injuries of the soul level that the root of your illness can be released. Okay, so basically she's saying if I just accepted not having kids, which I already have 3 kids, so I don't, this was on an old video. So I responded and said, actually, I have 3 children. Anyway, she thinks that if I don't know what she wants me to do with my kids. Like, I already have them. I don't know if she saw this and thought that I was pregnant. I must have been pregnant. I don't know what video this was on, but I'm pretty sure this was like a pregnancy one. So I'm pretty sure she was like going down the topic that we're not going to talk about right now because it makes me angry. Okay, anyway, so I said, we actually have 3 children. Just had our 3rd precious baby a few months ago. They are the biggest blessing to us. Our children are not neglected at all. We respect your choice not to have children and ask that you respect our decision. And here's the great thing. I don't know if you can see this, but she sent, I put this on YouTube. Sorry, if you're watching on YouTube, the biggest response. Again, took so much time out of her day to tell me all these things. She said, that's even more shocking. I cannot fathom being that selfish. Apparently having children is selfish. All right. I respect all people, which is why to have the conversation of our collective growth. But I don't respect a choice that causes harm to a child and wonder how you can expect that choice should be respected. Just because you want it, that doesn't make it good. Your choice is a confounding one. What a strange request to even make, as if you can do whatever you want in regards to the lives of other people. Again, this person doesn't know my life at all. Like, I guarantee they've watched this only video. Like, how many videos do you think this person who doesn't like me and thinks that I'm neglecting my children, how many videos do you think they've watched of me? I'm guessing not even a full video. They probably started it, heard that I had chronic illness, heard that I was having a baby and that I was pregnant, and went off on their little tangent. Okay. Even for healthy and fully available people, more than 2 kids is a bit much. Again, I'm like, I get that if it's a bit much for other people. I don't think that having kids is right for everyone. It's right for me. I don't think it's right for everyone. I don't think having 3 kids is right for everyone. Some people it's 2, but other people it's 8 or 10, and they're just fine and they love it. And even if they're chronically ill, it's fine. Like, I had a girl on the podcast, Daniela. She has 5 kids. Guess what? Her kids are loved and not at all neglected. They are loved. They are cared for. And she has 5 kids. Like, what would she say about her? Like, no, some people having 5 kids is the right amount. Some people it's 2. Some people it's none. That's totally fine. What exactly are you thinking? Is it just entitlement? I'm telling you, this is still the same comment. That your FOMO makes you do whatever you want. It's like hitting something in the road and not stopping to see when you hit it just because you're on your way to your vacation and don't want to miss out. You have to fix the broken thing before you move on to things you want. You don't have to be a surgeon until qualified. Same with being a parent. I'd bet if you look deeply enough, this is a pattern from childhood repeated. Perhaps this interaction is coming to you because your 3 children, and she did like 3 exclamation point, like it was absurd amount, really need to heal so you can be there for them in the way they need. There's an emotional root causing all of this, and only you can help. Anyway, she just like goes on. She recommends some book. Obviously, I did not even click on the link, but it's like, dude, you have no idea. I think it's a girl, but Liz, you have no freaking idea what my life is, and what my desires are, and what my values are. Family is like one of the most important things to me. The most important things. And you know what? This goes into the next one. Should we go on to this? Yeah, let's do this comment too. So someone commented, please don't let Mormonism, which it's not, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We don't call the gospel Mormonism. It's the gospel, but anyway, they don't get it. Anyway, please don't let Mormonism guilt trip you into having more babies than your body is okay with. I felt a very controlling church similar to Mormonism, and while I was supposed to believe in miracles to heal the sick, it put me in danger of taking care of myself and my body out of guilt for not having enough faith. And again, it's that misery loves company. Like, I had a church that didn't work for me, so your church shouldn't work for you. No, my church works for me. Like, it brings me so much happiness. Had I had the desire to have more kids, my chronic illness would not have stopped me. Okay, so let's just say it like that. But it's funny because they're like, don't let your religion guilt trip you into having babies. And I'm like, but like, I don't feel any guilt about having babies. I don't feel guilt if I were to have one baby or if I were to have none. Like, no, it's just that I value human life. I value being a mother. I value raising children with strong values. My faith helps build some of those values, and it makes me happier than I ever could explain in words. I can't even tell you. Like I can't explain in words how happy my faith makes me. It brings me so many amazing things. And there's just a lot of people, especially when it comes to religion and stuff, that just want to tear you down because they're miserable. They want you to be miserable too. And I'm like, no, my religion brings me joy. Having children brings me joy, even if I'm chronically ill, even if I have hard things happen, even if life isn't perfect, because guess what? If I wasn't chronically ill, there'd be something else. There'd be another reason why somebody says that I shouldn't have kids. Someone's going to always oppose you no matter what you're wanting to do. So there's that. And in response to her, by the way, I said, my religion actually does the opposite. I feel so free. I did at the beginning, I will say, I did say, I'm so sorry that you were caught in a religion that felt that way. And I'm so sorry you felt controlled. That sounds awful. But my religion doesn't guilt me into having babies. My religion actually does the opposite. I feel free. We believe in deciding when and how many children is between you, your spouse, and the Lord. And I hope that you find a belief that brings you joy. And that's the message I want to get across. Everybody has different things. Okay. Let's see. How many of these do we want to get to? Should we just do like one or two more? Someone else also said, I don't understand why you're having more than one baby. You have a hard time taking care of yourself. Again, it's my life. Because I want to, because it brings me joy. It's like, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's bad. Why does everybody associate bad with hard? Well, I know why. Because we have human brains that they want to find problems in everything. But when you, like, for me, I don't get it. Because what I see in my own life is joy from having children despite being chronically ill. This is a good one. For someone who claims to be chronically ill all the time, you sure are extremely vibrant, cheery, full of energy, and maybe it's a bad word, ton of makeup, but you don't look sick either. I can't even fake it, not even close. I don't know how sick you are, but after watching your videos, I got very little info, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't like the idea of trying to steal other people's light from them. If you are working through chronic disease, bless you. But I have found this video this video and this person to be extremely odd. Like, sorry, again, it's misery loves company. Story of this video. Misery loves company. Nobody knows your story. Because this person can't be cheery, full of energy, they think that I cannot do that. And I have moments where I'm not happy all the time. You've seen moments on YouTube where I'm super sad and down. I don't know if I've ever cried on YouTube. I don't think I have, mostly because it's hard for me to get out a camera in those moments. I'm just not one of those people that's like, content everywhere. I need to document every part of my life. And if something hard happens, I got to document it so that I can get views. Like, I just don't think that way. And after, I'm always like, man, that would have probably made a really good video, or I should have done that. Or like, especially when I've had like surgeries and major things happen, you would think that those would make great content, but I'm not in a place to film. And so it's always kind of hard for me. So I definitely have all the emotions, but it's so funny that people think that because you are finding something that works for you and that makes you happy, that because they're not happy, nobody gets to be happy. Guys, can we just decide that we all are going through things, and sometimes we're doing really great and sometimes we're doing really terrible, and it's okay that other people are in different places on their journey. Okay, this is an idea I've been thinking about a lot. I've been coaching on it a lot, is that we're all on our own journeys. And those journeys are not linear. So when I comment on these things that people have said and say like, okay, I actually think it's more mature to think this way. Or I think that, these people are playing the victim. I am not saying that to say that they are less than where I'm at, because we're all in a different place. There are times where, my journey's going up and down this whole time. There's times where I'm at really high points and there's time where I'm at really low points. And same with these people. And maybe they just commented on their low point, but that doesn't mean that they're not progressing and that they're not finding their own path and their own journey, because we're all on our own and everybody's is going to be a little bit different. Some people will listen to my podcast and listen to me talk and be like, she's ridiculous. I don't want to listen to her. I only want to find, people who are in a miserable state like me, right? Or I hate when she shares that she's depressed because I don't want to see when she's miserable, right? There's both ends. There's both ends to that. And some people will hate the things that I have to say, or they won't relate to me, or they don't, it doesn't feel good to them. And that's their journey. And then some other people might find things that I say really helpful and motivating. And like maybe they see that I understand things that they're going through. I don't know. But some people might find my stuff very helpful, my, information and coaching and all this stuff. And some people might not, and we're all on our own journeys. And sometimes there are people that I find that I really relate to, and there's a moment where I'm all in for them, and I think everything they say is like what I need, and then I kind of get over it, and I'm like, I need a break from this person, or I move on to something else because I'm on this different journey, and it's ups and downs, and even though it's not linear as in a straight line, and it's continuously getting better, it is trending upward. Like, we are trending upward. Our journey is taking us where we need to go, and you get to find where that is, and nobody else gets to tell you that your journey is wrong, because wherever you are is good. Wherever you are is a great starting point. Wherever you are moving forward. You are. And I'm getting hyped up about this topic, and we need to end this because I think this is about an hour-long episode, which is fine. This is what we're here for. But I just really want to drive home this idea that you don't have to make anybody else understand what you're going through, because they probably won't. And it's still hard not to want to please other people, or not to want people to understand. Of course, we want people to understand us, but nobody can see your full story. Nobody's been there every moment of every day. Even people who've been there a lot of the time, they might know more, they might understand better, but you are the only one who can take care of you to the fullest, to everything that you need. And remember, even if you're in a low point right now, you're still on a journey that is trending upward. We got this, my friends. Sick is cool. We're making it cool. We're making it this club that no one wanted to be a part of, but here we are. Join this club for me. I'll see you on the next episode.